Great. And in terms of the application process, can you take us through from when you apply to sort of when you start teaching? What does that sort of look like?
Sure. So it does end up being about a 3 to 4 month process, I think, from the date of application to the date of starting in China.
Okay.
The first part is actually the shortest. So when you apply to EF, your application will be reviewed by a recruiter, such as myself, and then we will reach out to you for more information and then eventually for an interview as well. And then assuming that the interview is positive and you accept an offer that we make to you, then we go into the visa document collection process. That first process that I just mentioned usually happens within a week. It's very, very quick. It's the
Okay.
visa document collection phase that takes much, much longer. So unfortunately, the first month is usually the most work intensive on the part of the teachers. So that's when you're collecting a lot of different documents, submitting them to EF so that we can translate them into Mandarin and then submit them for your work permit. And then after that, usually first month is what it takes most teachers to take to complete all of those. Then we go into about a 30 to 45 day waiting period while the Chinese government processes through it. So out of those 3 to 4 months, most of it is just kind of waiting for your work permit to be returned to you. And then once you get your work permit, that's when you can apply for your physical work visa with the Chinese consulate in your home country.
All right, great. And in terms of the documentation that you need, is it copies of your TEFL certificate, your bachelor's?
Yep, so that's definitely, the TEFL is very, very important. And the Chinese government requires what's called an authentication process so that they can be sure that your TEFL is real and approved. And it's not necessarily complicated in terms of what the teacher needs to do. It just ends up being a bit of a long processing time. So the basic overview is you'd have to get a copy of your TEFL notarized, then authenticated by your local government, and then authenticated by the Chinese consulate. And like I said, most of the time you're just mailing it out to these different places, waiting for them to process through it and then send it back to you. So there's, again, not that much work that actually needs to be done on the part of the teacher. It's just that they have to wait for it to be returned back to them.
Okay, great. And